It is the eve of the Championship starting for another season. 2024-2025 campaign gets underway for Norwich City at the Kassam Stadium. I am seriously excited. There's a real excitement about me this season in terms of Norwich City. And look, I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to end in promotion, top six, good stuff on the pitch, but it feels fresh. It feels like there's a new identity, a new methodology about going about things at Norwich, and that feels good. It feels like we've needed that for a long while. I've certainly needed it from a supporting point of view. It felt stale under Dean Smith. It felt stale under David Wagner. The era of Stuart Webber was beginning to come flat and in some instances toxic. And now with Ben Napper and Johannes Hoff-Torup, we've got something to look ahead to. It looks like we're looking forward rather than looking in the past, and that feels really good. It's going to be a fascinating campaign, and the way that I'm kind of looking at this season is I'm going to try and get an early sense, an early feel of the way that we're trying to go about things in the first 3 weeks of the season. We've obviously got another 3 weeks of the transfer campaign, the transfer window being open. So there's going to be chopping and changing, not only for us, but other Championship sides. And then after a month or so, that feels like a fair time to be able to have a bit more of a fair assessment on what's going on, a larger sample size. We've obviously had a month of pre-season or whatever, which hasn't been particularly positive. But I think it's going to be an interesting start. I think there's going to be ups and downs. There is going to be chopping and changing. So it's really difficult to nail your colours to a mast at this stage in the season. You're going to need to see something first. Anyway, it's Oxford United up first. And this is really exciting as a travelling fan. I've never been to the Kassam before. I've never watched us play Oxford away from home. It's Oxford's first time in the Championship for 26 years, so it's a massive occasion for them. I can't remember the last time we would have played Oxford. I don't think I've ever seen us play them in the flesh, so it's an exciting moment for me. It's something different. They came up through the playoffs in League One last season, beating Bolton in the final. Bolton were a really good side. It was Murphy, actually, Josh Murphy, that scored the winner in that one. He's since departed Oxford, so that's a shame. It would have been nice to have watched him against us as a Norwich lad. So plenty of hope about Oxford. And whenever you see a newly promoted side come up, and particularly through the playoffs of the league below, I think all of the kind of dull, poorly written nationals just go, oh, well, they're probably favourites to go back down. If you actually do some digging with Oxford United, there's a bit of cash about them, well-run football club, doing things the right way, lots of squad churn throughout the summer, which you would expect from a League One side coming into the Championship. I think they've got a really good chance of staying up quite comfortably in the Championship this season. And that means that this is in no way, shape or form going to be an easy start for Norwich City. I think when you see the fixtures come out, you go, oh, maybe give us a newly promoted side. Actually, I don't think this has worked particularly well in Norwich's favour. They're going to be at home. The fans are going to be buzzing. You know, the players are going to be buzzing. It's a new opportunity for a lot of these guys wanting to impress. As the ones certainly that have just been brought in, the ones that have already been there in League One will want to impress in the Championship. So it's going to be a really tough day for Norwich, and we need to dig in, and we need to dig in quickly. We've made 4 transfers so far in terms of incomings. Forson Amankwa has come in from RB Salzburg. It means that we've now signed 4 players, as I say, Callum Doyle, Forson Amankwa, Ben Cressine and Cordoba. 3 defenders and kind of a box-to-box midfielder. I think we'll see 2 of those in action tomorrow. And I really like the look of this side, actually, that Dan Emery on Twitter has put together. It's pretty much the same side as what we were used to last season, with obviously 2 new additions, and they come on the left side of the defensive line, and Callum Doyle and Ben Cressine. Of course, we've lost Ben Gibson and Dimi Anulis and Sam McCallum, so there's certainly going to be someone new at left back. I think, and I hope, that there will be someone new at centre-back. Now, you've got 2 options there. You've got Callum Doyle, who you could play, or Jose Cordoba. I don't think Cordoba is going to be fit. I'd be very, very surprised if he features against Oxford. I hope that it's Callum Doyle alongside Duffy, actually. You've obviously either got Duffy or Hanley or Brad Hills. Who knows? He might throw Hills into the deep end. Again, I doubt that will happen. Jack Stacey's the obvious choice at right back. You've also now got Forson Amankwa, who could feature against Oxford. I would be, again, surprised if he starts, which means this is probably the most likely midfield trio. Kenny McLean, Jakob Sorensen and Marcelino Nunes. Of course, we've lost Gabi Sarah. Still not quite over that. And then I think the front three pretty much picks themselves. Science on the left, Sargent through the middle, Rowe on the right. Barnes is obviously injured, so he can't feature. There is obviously question marks around Johnny Rowe's future. He's been linked with a move to Marseille. He's been linked with a move to Leeds United. I think if someone comes in with the right price, Norwich will sell him. But I would have thought he will play against Oxford United. I think Norwich will want him in the limelight. The only reason he maybe wouldn't is if there's pretty much a deal wrapped up and they don't want to get him injured. But that is the team. That's probably the realistic team. I'd like to see Brad Hills. I understand that it might be a little bit too early. I think you've got the Stevenage game on Tuesday in the Cup, which is a really good opportunity to bet a couple of the new guys in and a couple of the younger players. I'm thinking Kamara, I'm thinking Hills, I'm thinking Forson and Mankwa, and tinker a little bit with it. You don't really want to be tinkering in a big away match to start the season on Sky Sports. A Tuesday night against Stevenage in the Tim Pot Trophy is probably a little bit of a better option to do that. So Johannes Hofthorp has time to try and bed this in. Equally, he will be judged on results. I think for the first few games, I'm going to be judging things on performances. I'm not expecting massive things straight away. It's going to take time. He needs to build his squad. I like the profiling of the 4 signings we've made so far, all like 20, 21, 22 years old, all on fairly lengthy deals, other than the Doyle that's obviously a loan. I expect there's going to be more signings. So there seems to be method behind the madness here, and that hasn't felt like it's been that way for quite some time. So I like the idea of the recruitment. I like the makeup of the squad at the moment. I think that is going to change. And I think the team that we play against Oxford on the opening day compared to the team that we play maybe the 5th, 6th game of the season in the first couple of weeks of September is going to be incredibly different. And I think there is still a lot of moving and shaking to happen here. I don't know what the expectations are, to be honest. I look at the squad, I look at the rest of the league. It feels like it should be top 6. Like we got into the top 6 last season, and for half of the season we were awful. New head coach. We have spent a bit of cash. I think we will spend more. Granted, we've lost Gabi Sarah. Granted, we're probably going to lose another of our bigger players. But it feels like there's opportunity. Like I'm not. If we don't finish top 6 and the performances are good, I'm not going to be downbeat. It is a transitional season, but we still need to perform to a level, and we still need to justify the cash that we're spending, not only on player trading fees, but also player wages, because we are still one of the highest in the division. So excited to see how we go about things in terms of a playing style. Excited to see what the new signings are like. Excited to see how the older players adapt to Johannes Hofthorp. Hoping that the performances are better than what we saw in pre-season, and just going into this season feeling incredibly open-minded about things, and actually just going, you know what, I'm not sure what to expect, and that feels quite exciting. Ask me again in 10 games how I'm feeling, it might be a different response, but for now I've got that nervous energy and I like that. Let me know if you're going to Oxford. If you are going, try and find me and we'll have a beer together and say hello. And yeah, here we go. Strap yourselves in. It's going to be another big ride this season. And I can't wait for Johannes Hofthorp's first season in charge. It's going to be a good one, I hope. Let me know your score predictions. Let me know your starting 11 for Oxford United away. And yeah, I'll catch you on the other side. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.